1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. So when it comes to Virgo energy, when a Virgo stops pointing out your flaws or what may seem like them criticizing you to you, just know that that Virgo doesn't care anymore. When a Virgo cares about you, and this could be Virgo sun, moon, rising, just Virgo energy on a whole. When Virgo energy cares about you, this energy is going to point out all your flaws. Because Virgo energy is a helpful energy. This energy wants to fix you. This energy wants to make you so much better because they love and they care about you. This is the service energy. This is the energy that basically in a practical way wants to, you know, fix you up, make things better. So practically they'll say to you, you know, hey, you know, you need to lose some weight, or hey, you know, you need to do better with this, or you need to do better with that. And someone who's super sensitive will feel like, you know, this person is constantly picking on them. This person doesn't like them. So Virgos could easily be misunderstood as not liking someone because they're picking on them, when in all reality, because they're pointing your flaws out to you, just simply means that they care about you, that they love you. So Virgo energy is an energy that strives for perfection. And it is super important for us to understand that, like, basically we should never strive for perfection, but we should strive for progress. And perfection is, there's no such thing as perfection. And whenever a Virgo is striving for perfection, it is important for the Virgo to realize that basically that perfection is them comparing themselves to someone or something else that they themselves see as perfect. So whenever you're striving for perfection, ask yourself, who are you comparing yourself to? Because Virgo energy is super hard on itself and super critical about every single thing that it does. Like, this is why if you have strong Virgo energy in your natal chart, it will take you forever to get started on something. Like, I remember personally, like I've been making dresses since I was 12 years old. And at one point, like, you know, people started reaching out to me on my Instagram, you know, when I would make dresses more often, because I was into like the party scene, and I would make outfits to go to the club because I didn't want anyone, I guess my Leo energy, like wanted to be the only one wearing whatever it is that I was wearing. And one thing with Virgo energy is Virgo energy has the ability to break anything down and put it back together. So that's where I would sit down and basically like teach myself how to sew. So basically people would reach out to me and ask me to purchase dresses or sell them dresses. And I remember making a bunch of dresses that I was gonna sell. And because little simple things like maybe a thread was loose or just super simple things, you know, I wouldn't sell them. I just end up giving them all away, and sometimes even throwing them away because in my mind they weren't good enough. They weren't perfect. So having strong Virgo energy in your chart, like this energy will get in the way of you putting yourself out there and getting started with whatever it is that you want to do, because you're going to struggle with the need for perfection, with the need for things to be perfect when there is no such thing. Like even with YouTube, like it took me a long time to get to the point where it's like, you know, I create the content and I'll feel myself cringing when I'm watching back and editing, and I'll just like push past it. You know, it gets better over time, but sometimes it feels like a Chiron wound, something that will never heal. And the way how you deal with it or cope with it is to continue working on it. It's like, you know, working on that muscle, so the arm just, you know, so your arm keeps being flexible, it keeps working, you know, whatever that wound is. And here we're talking about Virgo energy. So yeah, Virgo energy, it's like it will hold you back because it's need for perfection. And Virgo is represented by the Virgin. and a virgin is inexperienced. And I find that to be a humbling thing about Virgo energy, because Virgo energy is the most intelligent of the zodiac sign. And the reason why I believe Virgo energy is the most intelligent of the zodiac sign is because, number one, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is information, it's the mind. But Virgo, unlike Gemini, is able to organize its thought, be detailed, and dive deep into whatever it is that it is researching or trying to understand. And then the virgin aspect of Virgo creates a level of humbleness to where it's like, even when you're open to someone else's perspective, someone else's way of seeing things. It sucks that basically it's insecurity that creates this openness. But for the fact that Virgo is open, like that helps Virgo to, be able to learn even more. Unlike, say, Sag energy sometimes, where because Sag energy deals with like being knowledgeable and knowing, sometimes Sag will think it knows to the point where it's not open to a new perspective or a new way. And when we're not open, then we're not that smart, because basically, to be really knowledgeable, smart, and intelligent is to, yes, focus, dive deep, but at the same time to be flexible and open enough to release old ways and take on new ways, and constantly touching and letting go when it comes to knowledge. And Virgo has that down pat. So because of that virgin energy that Virgo embodies, like basically that virgin energy is an inexperienced energy. So that inexperienced energy will tend to strive for perfection. And this is where it will look to everyone and everything else for guidance, look to everyone and everything else for validation, when it's important for us to check in with ourselves and just know. So, Virgo being a practical earth energy, spirituality and practicality, just it's hard for it to, it just doesn't really fit. Where basically, like, I remember reading this book by T.D. Jakes about innovation, and him talking about how basically you could go to school to learn business, but basically going to school, and I don't remember if he said this exactly, but I'm summing it up the way how I remember it. But like just in general, period, I remember seeing two scientists do a research about like whether you could go to school to learn business or not. And yes, you could go to school and learn how to run a business, but you can't go to school to learn how to be an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur is a risk taker, and no one can teach you or give you the courage to take risks. And Virgo energy will tend to talk itself out of its great ideas. And when it comes to the whole TD Jakes thing that I mentioned, when it comes to starting a business and being an entrepreneur, it's like, a business is like a child. Each one is going to be different. So that's why there's no book where it's one size fits all when it comes to raising children. So this is where Virgo energy has to trust itself and trust its intuition. For me personally, like I remember at one point I kept waking up at like the witching hour and having different premonitions or even encounters. And something that I would do every time, because of my Virgo rising and my need to like, be practical to a certain extent, I'll ask the spirit guides to show me things that I could look into, to basically to confirm to the practical side of myself that this experience is actually happened, that what I'm experiencing isn't something that I'm making up in my head. And each time I would be guided to look at certain things on the internet. And when it was all said and done, like it's like, I don't want to say freaked out, because like, it'll just make my connection with the creator even more stronger and powerful, to know that I am being guided, I am being supported. And of course, my practical side, like, will be satisfied, because it's like, I had an encounter, I was given a name, I look up the name, and it's like, wow, this is a real thing. Like, wow, that's what I saw, that's what I experienced. So it's a matter of creating balance within yourself, becoming aware that this Virgo energy is super practical and needs tangible evidence, but at the same time, being open to the opposition, which is Pisces energy, subconscious energy, and allowing ourselves to like flow and dwell in the subconscious, in the intuitive, in the spiritual, in the, you know, unknown energy, and at the same time ask the guides to give us guidance to where we can validate ourselves in the physical realm. After a while, you know, we don't need validation anymore. And another example of validation will just be journaling for me. Me writing down a dream or a premonition, and then it plays out in real life. It's like I still can't explain how it happened, but I know I'm not crazy because I wrote it down so I can reference back to it, and boom, it happened. Opposed to going and sharing it to other people who can't relate, who can't understand, who might make me feel, you know, weird about myself because they can't relate, because they can't understand. So this is where, you know, we do little practical things in order to support that spiritual, energetic side of ourselves that is also there. Like with Virgo energy, like Virgo energy is so good with details, to where Virgo is so good with details and patterns, to where Virgo could use the details and patterns to forecast, be a fashion forecaster, you know, be someone who financial forecaster. You can see the patterns and things that are coming. To other people, it could look psychic, but to you, it's the patterns that you're noticing. So that's something with a practical Virgo that people might misunderstood to think that they're psychic, when in all reality, they're paying attention to the patterns, where if only they tap into their opposition, which is Pisces energy, it can all come full circle. And these could be some very powerful wizards and witches. If you guys are still here with me, I would love to hear. Please let me know by dropping me a orange heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.